Test, test, test. Test, test, test. All right, sounds good. We are off. Okay, so play chess settings, pieces. There we go. Okay. All right. What do I have here? White. All right. Let's play a first quick game while people are showing up. Nice quad, nice. Oh, let me just put the info in here. Well, no, we'll get to it in a second. All right, d4, knight f6. Okay, I know what I'll do. I will expand this so you can see the move list, right? And then you can try to reconstruct and follow the game yourselves. I'm going to play real people in a second once we've got some more people here on stream. But let's start like this while we're waiting for folks. C4. And yeah, see if you can follow the game like this. Knight C3. Let's pre-move the Grunfeld. Oh, got it. Obvious move. You've got a challenge right now, Quad. Okay. Bishop C4, Grunfeld C5. The d-pawn's hanging, knight E2 to defend it. Knight C6. Knight C6. Okay, re-attacking my pawn, right? Okay, so the pawn on d4 is attacked a bunch. But my pawn on c3 is defended by the knight, so I could defend or I could push past. If I push past d4, d5, where can the black knight go? It could go to e5, bishop b3, c4, bishop c2. Yeah, let's just try it. Curious about this move. Or knight a5, then I have to tuck myself this way. h6, not very good. Should I play c4 Or does that pawn just sort of become weak and it's unnecessary to do that? I'm going to think that's unnecessary. If I play bishop e3, it attacks the c5 pawn, and we can see if black wants to defend it while we develop a piece. Nope. Okay, now shouldn't that pawn on c5 be hanging, quad? Tell me, is there any black piece defending the pawn on c5? Hey, Drew. Bishop h8, huh? Castle. King g7. Whoa, mama. Let's try a little tactico here against Maggie Pants. Bishop takes a7. Let's see if I got this right. Nope. My bishop's on d3. Oops. That's not good. Well, I do know where the pieces are. I'm just making dumb moves. Take that. All right, let me try and go faster. Check. We're right around there, quad. Queen b6, check. I've already played knight to g3. Bishop here, pawn, 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 pawn. Queen b6. King h1. Queen takes on e6. Sure, that makes sense. f5, giving up some more dark squares. Ugh. I don't love doing that. I could put the queen there and kill my bishop. All right, let's not do it. Let's not kill my own bishop in that case. Queen back to b6. All right, now let's try the attack. f5. Takes it. Introduce the knight. King there. Well, let's just bring the queen out. Simple enough. Sometimes you can get to move 30. Are you good on the position so far? Apparently black just played queen f2. That's a real shocker. Any thoughts on what I should do about that? I think I figured out the end of the game, so. Oh no. Not totally. Oh. Oh yeah, I think I found something great. All right, Quad. Let's put you to the test. No, you're lost? Oh, sorry. You want to try and go back through the move list and see if you can find what I should do here? You want to try? I can walk you through it if you want. I can barely do it. It's been so long since I've done any blindfold chess. But I think I got it. All right, so black just put the queen on f2. And I think there's a pretty simple move which suggests itself, which is rook takes queen, right? But if I have real confidence in myself, I think I have a checkmate in like 4 moves that I could play instead of taking the queen. I think I've got a knight on f5, a bishop on d3, and a queen on h5. And there's a king on f8. What I want to do is go queen takes h6 check, king to g8, knight takes e7 check, rook takes knight, queen h7 check, king f8, and then queen h8 checkmate, with the king blocked in by the rook on e7, where I sacked a piece to fill the escape square. What do you guys think? What are the odds that that's sound? Does that look right? Yeah. That's pretty sick, right, Quad? I mean, if you followed the idea of what was happening semi-blind there. Pretty cool. All right. How many people are here in chat now? How many people have we got? Should I play another warm-up game, or do we have a few people who are ready to do some puzzles? Say hi if you want puzzles, otherwise I'm just going to keep playing for myself one more game. Hey Drew, I saw you. I knew you were there. Hi. And we've got Quad. Nobody else. All right, then I'll play one more. And now I'm going to go hyper blitz speed. Sorry, Quad and Drew. I know that's going to be the most non-friendly for you, but hopefully people will be around by the end of the next game, and pressing myself to go faster is something for me to work on here. Okay, it looks like I've got white. Let's switch to e4. e5. Knight f3. Knight c6. Let's go Italian game. Knight f6, d3, bishop e7, castle. Go a quick bishop g5 line, d5. What the heck? Knight takes d5. I tried to play bishop takes queen, but there's a bishop on e7, so I got that wrong. Knight d7 is the right knight. g5 seems to be hanging. F7, queen d4. I think I sort of know where the pieces are. G6. Gotta move this. Jesus. What? Rook f8. I thought you just played an illegal move. What? Hang on, I'm really confused now. How is that possible? Isn't my bishop on c4 and king on g8? I'm way less clear when I go this fast. I guess I'm going to have to go through the game from the beginning again to see if I can figure out what I'm wrong with, because I cannot figure it out. It seems illegal. Black castled. I put like queen h5, knight takes f7. The knight that was on d5 recaptured on e7. The bishop was on e6, has moved to g6. He's literally just played an illegal move. Oh no, he played the rook from a8 to f8. Not the one from f7. Okay. It just said rook f8. That was dumb. Okay. Okay, rook f8. Okay, let's keep going with my plan then. Okay, that was not so good. Hey Nightshade, here's my answer. It's a little video I made for you. Are you able to follow the game, Drew, or not? That was pretty fast. Have you played Blindfold before, Drew? What experience or whatnot do you have so far? So I had at least one blunder that game at some point. What was it? Well, I sort of knew what it was. It got complicated. When I was going like knight f7, I knew there was going to be bishop g6. Yeah, I just got tangled up there. Because I saw if I did like a knight discovery check, there would be queen takes c4. It's basically... No, you're welcome, Nightshade. As you might have guessed, I've gotten that question like 10 million times, right? So after answering it 1 million times, I made a video to answer it. Because I figured out that that would be a really useful video for a lot of people. So it's got all kinds of advice packed in there, you know. I thought it through thoroughly, and yeah, it's got everything you need in that one video. Hey, Baymon. Just not for you. So basically, when it gets complicated, that's when I kind of lost at this game. Yeah, I mean, being able to play 20 moves of a blindfolded game in your head quad is certainly a big step towards being able to follow an analysis line that somebody says, right? Like if somebody takes a position and then in that position they tell you a 4-move variation, right? They tell you some 4-move variation like bishop h7, king h7, knight g5, king g8, queen h5, bishop takes g5, h takes g5, opening up the rook and threatening checkmate. If you can play a 20-move blindfold game, then suddenly hearing a GM rattle off a 5-move variation is less, insane. What rook a3 move, Baymon? Are you talking about my YouTube videos? A truly blind, truly national master. That's awesome. From the YouTube video? Cool. Pretty sweet, right? For some reason, that video's got no views. I don't know what happened, but oh well, such is life. But I was excited to share rook takes c3, rook a3 with the world. I was, as you could probably guess, right? I was excited to share it because it's pretty cool. But okay, good enough that I got to play it, I guess. Good enough that I got to play it. Okay, where is this thing here? Is there anybody in chat who wants to play with me? To help me practice playing multiple blindfold games? Just fun and bragging rights. Just a different kind of exercise, Nightshade. You know, you do something different, and it'll have some kind of benefits. Well, you don't have to be blindfolded, whoever plays against me. Yeah, Baymon, you can play. I need multiple opponents to play against to do some good training. Hi, Cartier. How are you today? I'm thinking some kind of time control, like 15 minutes and like 10 or 15 seconds per move, and try to play 3 to 5 opponents for this round. See how that goes. If I played 15 minutes with 15-second increment, and I played 5 opponents, that would be like 3 minutes plus 3 seconds if you divide the time by 5, right? That's really quite fast for me. You don't have to be good, Quad. You don't have to play blindfolded. I play blindfolded. You play normal if you like, right? It's up to you if you want to play. I mean, you can play blindfold if you want to for some reason. And when I've done these exercises in the past, some of my opponents have tried playing blindfold against me, but you can just play normally looking at your pieces. There are steps, Bobby, but one of the most important steps is in anything is to just go for it. You know, that's important in everything. Okay. So let's try and get a new game. So let's say 20 plus 15 unrated. And if you're willing to help me out with this little challenge, send me a challenge. You're welcome to play normally and look at the pieces. It's a good challenge for me. Howdy, only win. How are you today? All right, I got 1 challenge in. Great. 2 challenges in. Great. Thank you very much. Once we get at least a 3rd challenge, I'll accept them, and then if I get 1 or 2 more that come trickling in after that, I'll add them as well. Gambling Elo, you're up at the tables. All right. So what I'm going to do here for this view, I'm going to put it like this, and then I'll say to watch, like go to live chess and observe. To see the boards, go to live chess and observe David Pruess. All right, let's see if I've got a 3rd challenge. No, okay. 1 more challenge, please. 20 plus 15 unrated. Oh, wait. Day 188. Thank you, Cartier. Day 188, it looks like your challenge is 20 minutes and 15 seconds as one time control instead of 20 minutes plus a 15-second increment. Can you try to redo that challenge, please and thank you? And I'll start accepting. I'll take one or two more challenges if they come. Okay, I've got white against Cartier. Now, where do I find my next game? Open. Oh, that is even more annoying than it used to be. I've got white again here. All right, let's go D4 on my other games. Oh my God, it's like 10 seconds just to switch between games now. And new game, I don't see the next challenge just yet. Cartier's surely done something. C5. So it takes like 20 seconds just to switch boards on here now. That's annoying. Your move, Baymon, your move. Cartier G6. New game, there we go. Day. I've got 3 whites. This is crazy. And let's play a C4 game. D Pruess Baymon, D4, C5, D5. Games, Cartier tank, CD4, Knight D4. Day, C4, E5, Knight C3. Baymon, D4, D5, C4. Baymon, you've got 15 seconds to move. Cartier tank is thinking. Any more challenges? Fanfare tonight. Thanks for the challenge. Can you add a 15-second increment and make it unrated? Because I'm probably going to lose /flag a lot of these games. Cartier. I can't see what move he's played. Bishop G7, let's say. Bishop E3. Baymon, E6. Against Baymon, C4, E5, CD5. Kings, Cartier, E3, Knight F6. C3. Bishop G2, Bishop C5. Okay. See if there's a new challenge. Nope. Cartier, Knight C3, O to O. Games, Day, 3-6. My turn, CD5, D6, Knight C3. A3, A6, E3, D6. Games, Cartier, Bishop E2, D6. So if like Knight G4, Bishop G4, should be Queen G4 from there, yeah, okay. Okay. So should I castle? Or should I play F3? Let's play F3. Baymon, it's their turn. Day, it's going to be my turn, Knight G2, O to O. O to O. New game. There's the challenge from Fanfare Tonight. Yes. All right. Game 4 begins. Fanfare Tonight. Let's go F4. got them all thinking at once, I think. Sure, John. So 20 plus 15 unrated. My turn against Cartier. F3, Queen B6. Whoa. That's intense. Okay. Come on, David. Whew. And I haven't castled yet. Yikes. Oh no. I haven't even castled yet, have I? I don't know if I'm seeing that right. Chess God sends the challenge. And here's the next game, E4. Let me... Shoot, where's my fourth game? Okay, against Baymo, knight c3, knight f6, e4. Games day, knight g2, Odo, bishop g4. Yeah, that makes sense. E4, C5, knight C3, E6. Okay. Let me get 2 moves in here, and then I'll accept that other challenge. Okay. Now let's accept the next game. All right, finally black. That's okay. It does that on the first 2 moves or whatever, 3 moves of games sometimes. Getting in a few moves quickly on this board to make sure that it doesn't get timed out from being too early. Okay. Baymo, it'll be my turn. E4, G6. Knight C3, knight F6. What game is this? Okay, it must be the Benoni. Cartier, knight C2, queen A5. Castle. Day, bishop back to E6. Attacking that pawn. I would want to just plop my knight in there, right? Games, chess god, bishop G2, knight F6. Castles, bishop E6. Chess god, bishop G2, knight F6, E5. Wait, I better check on this last game here, right? A3, queen C2, Odo. A3, I gotta take it. Queen takes. D6. e5, e5, bishop e5, e5. My turn. Okay. Yikes, wow. Okay, this guy's fighting me hard. Knight, pawn, bishop, cutting me off. Taking that yet. H3. Baymon, f4, bishop g7. Let's give it a check. Cartier, rook b1, knight d7, revealing bishop. No, you don't need to challenge again, Golko fan, because I'm up to 5 games, which is going to be enough for this time control, I'm pretty certain. Just got 92. 97. That's impossible. No, bishop e7. Knight f d7. Okay, where's my move against Chess's God? cd4. Knight b7, e3. Thank you, Golko fan. Good night to you. Baymon, a4, a6. I think here I'll go bishop d3. Against Day, knight ec3, knight e5. Woo! Coming for me. Yikes. I just gotta have confidence and keep playing moves. I can't, second guess and double check stuff. Knight d4, castles. All right, so bishop, knight, knight, there, stuff. Here, I should castle too, instead of thinking. Castles. Develop. Thanks, Brody. Say hi to Santa from me. Knight takes b4. Oh, God. My first huge blunder seems to have come in. Oh, and it's a good one. It's a good one. Queen f6. Knight e4. Chess's God. O to O. Bishop g4. Okay, right. knight's already on d4. So that means he's not pinning me. He's just attacking my queen, I think. And I don't have this bishop out yet, so I just gotta go like here or something. E5, D5. Okay. The knight, of course. Where's it my time? Everywhere! Chess has got queen d3, knight c6. Bishop off the back rank. Cartier tank, bishop c3. Knight d5. Day. Queen over to h6. Wow. Knight's on e5. Knight's on e4. He must have played d6 at some point, so this bishop's probably defended. I gotta do something like d4, right? I think. Chess has got bishop f4, rook e8. Nice, good move. Spamo, knight f3, c4. What? Take. Queen c2. Okay, that makes sense. Yay, bishop takes d5. Move up this isolated pawn, I guess. I'm just down a pawn for nothing in that game. h3. h5. Alright, my time is not running on any of the boards right now, but still I'm just going really low on time here on some of these boards, huh? Oof. Oh, Cartier. Knight c5, yeah. Nothing good coming of this position. C5. Wait, is he going to take on c3 and then grab this pawn? Push e5 with my king in the center? Yeah. Cartier plays b6. Yeah, that makes sense. Wait a minute. It makes sense, or does it? sure where the pieces are, really. H5, bishop d3. Queen d3. No. 10 minutes here. Rook f1, rook c8. Okay, clean move, clean move. Bishop's here, queen's here, there. Knight f5. Against Cartier, queen a3. Bishop c1. Day. d4, f5, attacking my knight. It's 10 minutes against chess h3, bishop h5. So that's going to come for my queen in a second there, real fast, honestly. Knight check. Oh. Queen takes d5, knight takes d5. Bamo on e5, bishop g4. Wow, okay. This is too intense. Too intense. I don't know, develop a piece, just gotta do stuff. Cartier, bishop d4 check. Knight takes e5, d takes e5. D's here. 5, knight b4. Coming after me. Play, just drop back. Knight e2, knight e2. Right. It's already a pawn on a3. Careful, careful. I don't know what that move's about. I don't know what I'm doing. Cartier tank. Found a square, huh? Shoot. c4, attacking my rook. e4, knight takes c5, d takes e5. Now everything's getting fuzzy. Queen on h6. Takes e5, d takes c5. 7 minutes against queen d2, knight g6. That idea there. Take. And my rook has to take. Holy moly, queen b6. Okay, I don't think I'm castled yet. I've got things, queen b6. This is here. Queen d2 seems like a good idea. Okay, 7 minutes here. Rook c1, rook d8. a3. Knight c3. Offering a little Tradeovich, huh? Castles. God, some of these people are so fast. Chess has got a3, knight c6. Okay. Knight takes, bishop takes. Silence! I have 6 minutes, which divided by 5 is 1 minute. I don't know. Cartier take queen d1, f5. Jesus, Cartier. Leave me alone. Oh. Queen there. What is Cartier doing? I don't know. Rook e1, rook a8. Rook e1, rook a8. It's probably attacking my queen. h6. Okay. God, b4. Oh, yeah. Okay. I traded the knights to simplify. So this is just becoming a pass pawn. I'm just playing simple chess. Chess is gone. Jesus, so fast. C4, bishop there, there. This bishop there. My H pawn. He's attacking my H pawn, I think. He's got a knight on c5 as well. Did I ever play f4? I don't think I got around to playing f4. I think it's still on f3. So knight on c5. So we're just going to want to trade this. C4, B5. Cutting me off with that. Jesus, fast. Rook F1. Okay, there it starts. D1. Let's get ready to recapture. Day. Queen c2, queen e6. Okay, that's got to be the one with the bishop on c4. It's got to be the English. Queen c2, queen e6. Queen c2, queen e6. Where are my pieces? God damn it. I should have an extra one. It's got to be on c1, undeveloped. Ugh. Okay. Grab another pawn. Cartier. Bishop e5, bishop e5. Okay, fair enough. Queen b4. Okay, attacking my bishop. I don't think I've played rook c1 yet. I don't know. 4 minutes, chess gods. CD5, bishop e4. Okay, yeah. Rook 3 to c2. e-file. 5 minutes against Cartier, bishop c6, rook af8. Yeah, that makes sense. He wants to go try and checkmate my king. Oh, that's very Cartier. I don't know about this move. Can't stay. Bishop takes b7. Bishop d5. Rook a2. c3. I think I'm winning that game. The simple end game. I think I'm winning. Just got rook e1, rook e8. Rook e1, rook e8. Bishop takes d5, rook takes d5, queen on e6. Pawn's kind of surrounded. Four, 5, 4. G3, G5. Oh la la. This is my endgame, right? Bishop e5, whatever, I'm just queening. C2, bishop d3. I won a game, folks. I won one game. Whew. All right, Baymon. B3, D takes E5. Uh-oh. What do we do now? Guess we take back. Against Cartier, King G2, H5. 30 seconds. Ah, queen e5, a4. Okay. Okay, against the e4, fe4. Seconds. G4, queen e8. Rook d4. I guess there must be a pawn on c5 here. Seconds left. Ah! Why can't I? 20 seconds here. Queen e3. Queen g6. Why can't I push my passed pawn here on this board? King b6, king c7, d6, d7. Oh, it's on e7. That's why. I forgot I moved it all the way to e7. D8, king f7. Okay. Oh god, there's tactics I didn't plan happening over here. I didn't see this queen g6 setting up the capture of my bishop. Knight takes b3. What's happening? I've got 20 seconds on like each of these 4 boards. This is hell. d3, hitting my queen. Oh, 12 seconds here, rook d3. I don't know where anything is here, do I? Where are my pieces against Baymon? I can't find my pieces. I've got to have a piece somewhere. I just missed like a back rank mate there because I was so rushed. Where are my pieces? Rook takes h6. Rook takes here. I think I should resign the Baymon game and try to win the others. Oh god, I just won a game. 4 seconds against Baymon. Lost on time. Good game, Baymon. You crushed me, I think. I don't really know where anything is, so I can't be sure. But I think you crushed me. And now there's only one game left, so I just have to figure out where the pieces are on one board. What a wild game with Baymon. That was sick. Where is this rook going? I think there's a rook on f5 that I'm like attacking, and it doesn't have a lot of places to go. Was it an English opening, Chess God? Did you have an English opening with me? Rook f4, can't I take it? What is he doing? Knight d3. Take it. What is going on? Okay, he checked me. What's going on? Didn't he just hang a rook to a pawn? Oh, close Sicilian. Yeah, that you played well. That was a very difficult game. We'll look at all your games with pieces in a couple minutes if you want, as soon as this last one is done. As you can see, it's only a few seconds, or 30 seconds each here. Rook G6. Let's go to the open file with the rook. The closed Sicilian game was very, very well played by black. It was a very close game throughout. G5 in the endgame was probably the mistake, John. So, like, you put your pawns on squares so I could eventually attack them with my bishop. I think I'm winning this last game. Yeah, we can look at it together with pieces soon. The endgame should be drawable. Knight takes d5. He wants to come here. Shoot. Morning, Maripont. Okay. Let's turn our pieces back on. here. All right, and let's go through some of these games. Let's start with the game I lost to Baymon. Okay, I was right. I didn't have any pieces on the board when I flagged, so that was fine to flag. So, like my earlier game against the Magnus bot, while I was waiting, when the thing got like calculation heavy and hectic, that's where I couldn't keep up with things. So, but we'll look at this from all perspectives, from my training perspective and from your training perspective. So here, this move surprised me, but it was nice and dynamic. Probably a great move, Baymon. Honestly, probably one of the reasons I lost our game is that you played so well throughout. E5, because I was worrying about defending this pawn. He's going to take and take. I mean, I suppose it's playable for me to castle, let you take, play queen d4, and then play with my dark squared bishop. But you go bishop f5, and then my dark squared bishop... Oh, I have g4 there. I didn't see that during the situation that we were doing. But maybe queen d4 will do the same thing as bishop f5. Basically, this bishop has a hard time getting out. I suppose eventually I can move this bishop, this pawn, and put it here. So maybe you want to trade queens so there won't be mates, and then you don't care that much. How do I deal with losing against much lower rated players? I don't seem to feel bad about it, and I don't care about it. I mean, I guess it depends the level I played Maripont. I don't really get upset about whether or not I lost, but I might be slightly upset if I play really badly. But let's say I played decently and lost to a much lower rated player. Then what I would think about is how they had a really great game, right? Like they got one of the biggest upsets of their life potentially, right? And they played very well for their rating. You know, they played up to the level of a stronger opponent, and that's really cool. Sure, don't move until you see it. No problem. Gladly. I mean, depends how they do it. If it's like mocking me, then I would be upset because it's rude to mock someone, whether you win or lose or play chess or talk about comic books. If they just posted something like, here's like a great game I played recently, I would expect them to do that. If they're using social media, that's fine. I would post a good game I played too for other people, like if I thought, it'd be cool for other people to see. My email is my last name at Gmail. Don't move. Just Pruess at Gmail. And depending on how long and how much your questions are, I mean, I think we've got like 40 minutes now in this morning session, and we can talk about blindfold related stuff now. Yeah. Okay, so I think very, very strong idea from Baymon here. The c4 pawn tag into knight c5. That's really cool. It makes the game super dynamic. I said, well, if I lose a pawn, he'll still give up the bishop. Obviously, bishop takes c3, he'd give up the bishop. But in any position like this, where he takes on e5, right? Like, let's say he plays rook e8, and I castle, and he takes the pawn. Any position like this, my bishop is out, and it's a dream for me. So he can't do that. But he came up with, of course, another great move here. Bishop g4, looking to put more pressure against my e5 pawn, not give up his bishop. I tried to play a clever move here, bishop e3, and then he answered with a cleverer move, I guess. So that didn't quite work out. And then I start just not knowing what to do from here on out. Yeah. Maybe I should castle and forget about the b2 pawn, right? Maybe my position is like very playable if I just do something like castles, queen b2, rook c1, defending the hanging minor pieces. And then, I mean, I'm not saying that black's done anything wrong or even has a bad position, but we're talking from the perspective of improving my play here, not Baymon's. This might be playable for white. Like, there's stuff that's risky and dangly and stuff from my perspective, but I also have, you know, like a pretty good development and an extra pawn in the center that might do something for me. e5 is technically sort of hanging walking death, but like in some cases I can win a piece over here, and in other cases I can just push d6 and give up this pawn and then just get a lot of, you know, dynamic stuff going. Like, let's say black played like knight d7 or something, then they want to take, and let's say I go like, I don't know, h3 takes here. So their knight's defended, but the position is still interesting here, even though I'm now down a full pawn, right? Yeah, I'm down a full pawn, but the position's still interesting because it's sort of messy and open, you know. And this passed pawn can be, sometimes can be good, sometimes it can be nothing, sometimes it can be good. So, you know. Yeah, I mean, one very short answer for you to know don't move until you see it is none of it is visual, basically. I don't see anything. It's just collections of information and how things are related, but mainly it's just lists of there's a knight on f3, there's a pawn on g2, there's a bishop on g7, and then I just, and I know, you know, what squares a bishop on f4 attacks, and I also remember the moves of the game. So if I get confused about where something is, I can go back to the start of the game and play through it in my head if I have enough time and recreate the position that way. Okay, so I went queen d2, takes, which is good, and now queen b4, which was also on point. Man, this was just a hammering. So I save that piece at the risk of the c3 square. He takes, defend, and get castled. Okay, so now, yeah, I didn't really deal with this knight takes b3 threat, did I? And I don't even know what move I played here. Something kind of ran. Oh yeah, I opened that up to try and do something here. And I was a moment too late. And here, I mean, Baymon also has a simple move, queen b3, which is surely pretty good for them, but they went for something even more complicated. I felt like I should have a hope here. It got just so messy. Normally, Abdul, you'll have, like, okay, if the players are good enough, they can call out their moves to you. And if they're not good enough, and in general, just because, you know, you can't be sure, you'll want to have, like, a decently strong player there who's sort of watching the games and can, like, confirm for you the notation and the moves. Bishop d4 instead of d6. I think this would crush me, right? Walking Death. He hits me on these two squares. Queen's attacked. And if I take, it opens up this way. So he checks here. and then collects more pieces. Just a hammering. Maybe this move? No, then he just takes. If I go here, there's this. So I went for this. He came here, here, and hit me with the check too. Oof. And the knight stopping me from coming in. No, I guess I saw it all correctly. I just got outplayed and there was nothing to be done. Holy moly. And let's say this about Baemon. I think out of everybody playing, Baemon used their time the best out of any of my opponents. Like, but I know Baemon got the lowest on time of anybody, but had just enough time and calculated everything really well. Baemon played like crazy good this game. Perfect use of time, initiative, dynamic. I mean, that was just a fantastic game. Like, what can be said about it? Holy moly! Good job, Baemon. I guess. Good job, Baemon. All right, let's check out some of my other games. So, so this one here, this one I played sort of pretty simply. This opponent was strong, I mean, based on like rating, 1900, but played very fast. This is a line, this queen c2, a3, queen c3, bishop g5. This is like the line against the Nimzo I've had the number one most trouble with is black. Like, I just haven't known what to do about this situation for forever, for my entire life. I've just never known. So honestly, I probably played pretty well this game. Out of all the games, I think I handled things okay. I suppose it could also be interesting to like go here and then try and play like g5, bishop g3, knight e4, f. No, I can't do it. I don't believe it. Okay, this was fine. I got developed. Yeah, I'm just alive. Like, it's hard for white to bring out both of these pieces cleanly, right? While keeping the bishop pair. h3, yeah, I anticipated that. And then later I remembered that there wasn't back rank. This move was sick, I think. Like, bishop g6 is an obvious move to get a tempo, but then the knight can just come out later, right? So actually my bishop's doing something right now. Rook e8 might be the other move. And then g5, which I don't want to play. But I'd love to do something kind of dynamic, right? Because white hasn't yet developed. Breaking in the center. If white takes on f6, queen f6, queen d5, queen b2, hitting the rook. That was my calculation. Looks obviously sound. Damn, this was great. And then here, yeah, I didn't know what to do in this endgame. I wanted to go knight b4, but I remembered there was a pawn on a3 from when white got me to trade the bishop. Then, like, the simple, boring move was rook e8, just developing a rook, because I can't go to d8, which I really want to, and I'm worried about g5, bishop g3, and then the bishop's better, and it's poking my pawn, and I have to worry about e4 and rook d1. But, yeah, totally. Happily don't move. I'm so glad I didn't just randomly play this boring move quickly and I thought deeper, and I came up with the idea of knight b6, knight c4, but then I thought like knight b6, rook c1, and where am I going and what am I doing? And I thought, what do I really want to be doing here? And as bishop g3 hits this, and then I realized I could play c5 first, activating my pawn majority. I mean, it's an obvious move to a stronger positional player, but it wasn't obvious to me. Not your best game? Well, it was one of my best games, so at least one of us feels good about it. It's about as good as I've ever played. and it was blindfolded. Rook c1 here, bomb, bomb. And now finally I weaken the king side because I'm going to take the d file with the rooks discoordinated. Here, Sirix could consider rook c2 as a potential improvement. And then there's checkmate. Yeah, no, there's not much to be done. What did I think? Maybe f3? Yeah, maybe f3. Keep your king near the d file since it's an important file that you've lost control of. That's the answer. All right. This is the key moment of the game from your perspective, I think, Sirix. Because I think when you castled, I'm much better in this endgame now. Right? Unless you've got rook fc1. Unless you've got rook fc1, b6, b4, or something like that. But okay, but let me just say in general, there may be one move that still saves you after that. But in general here, you know, when I take the d file, it makes sense to play this and keep your king near, right? We're already in the endgame. That makes major, major sense. Castles, boom. Yeah, I mean, so there's a question whether you could play here and then here, right? Or here, because there's no back rank. And this might still be drawing right here. I mean, it is opposite colored bishops after all, which is worth thinking about. But one way or the other, f3, king e2 is much more obvious. Much more obvious. After you played b4 and my pawn got passed, now I thought, you know, f3, bishop g6 doesn't change anything. So this is just, yeah, this is just dead. You have to keep the rook on c3, I suppose. And then I don't know, rook b1, bishop b8. Rook b3. You'd still have drawing chances, but this position looks tough. I don't know, there may be details for either side, but I mean, it must make sense that you need to keep the pawn blockaded here, right? It's pretty obvious that after c3, it's dead tactically. After rook c3, you might be lost, but black has to play a really tough endgame still. A full endgame. So, yeah. And after this, yeah, let's go on. Okay, so that was that game. Day. Yeah, on the last move of this game, I missed. I had planned to back rank checkmate like this. Oh, but the king's still here. That's not back rank checkmate either. The king will just come out. Okay, so it made no difference. But I did miss this sneaky thing here. Did I have the position right? I had the position right up to this point. And then here I just missed this rook takes f4 idea. I may have gotten confused and thought my king was on h2 for a moment, or I just didn't pay attention to the move. It was just a move that didn't stop e6. But then this move was good enough, and I'm still winning. That was, yeah, I mean, I found it, and I realized it was probably still winning, but it hadn't been my plan to hang the bishop on f4. But what we can say about this game, Day, your opening was really nice, but from your perspective, this 95 move was an overplay, right? Because you're not going to have compensation for a piece sack here. There are ways where you can sack the e4 pawn and fight back on my light squares, but this was an overplay to give up the piece. And otherwise, if you want knight e4 not to be with tempo, you'd have to do this. Is this possible? Maybe this is possible. I mean, your structure is really bad in perpetuity. I guess I don't fully believe it. Yeah, I don't fully believe it. We probably trade these 2 pawns and then you're still worse, right? Yeah. If I do this, then black does this, and then the pawn structure is not as bad because they're a bit more connected. So I should probably, take and then... send these pieces away. And then it's just, strategically winning for white actually such a bad pawn structure, and so no knight e5. So up to here everything makes sense, but here, what do you need? Maybe to take it like this? Still seems a little bit better for white. Shout out to GM Toms. Thank you for the raid, and welcome raiders. GM Toms, I'm afraid I'm not familiar with your stream, so if you would like to, maybe you could give a brief, summary or like ad spot for what your stream is about to our viewers, so they can know whether or not they want to follow your channel and join you on future streams. To the raiders just joining us, hi, I'm David. I'm one of 3 teachers who run the Chess Dojo, along with Jesse Kraai and Kostya Kavutskiy. And today we're doing blindfold practice. And we're already on reviewing the games. The games are done. So we're just looking over the game, seeing if we've got any advice for my opponents or for me. Hi, chess bunnies. So this opening, Day played very enterprisingly, interesting and aggressive, but overcommitted somehow here. So let's see, what should they do? Or are they just losing this pawn for nothing and it's just not quite good enough here? My instinct during the game was I expected to move rook e8, but then knight takes, queen takes, knight e4. Maybe this maneuver that Day used in the game, and maybe you're still attacking 2 pawns at once. A grandmaster. Answering all questions and explaining their thought process. Just a grandmaster. A real chess grandmaster, right? Wow. That's pretty good. That's a good start. I have no idea, Maripon. I did not make the template, nor do I notice visual things. So I just don't know. So here either I go king h2 and drop this pawn, or I go d3 and drop this pawn. And you're in the game, Day. You're in the game. I don't know if you're still around, Day, but I think this, yeah. I started doubting it, but this was my instinct during the game. Rook e8. And it's hard for me to still win this pawn cleanly because both of these are hanging. That's a nice and thematic move. By sort of trying to overprotect e4, you give white less options for how they try to clean it up. Okay, have some good lessons, Toms, and thanks for the raid. And folks, give a follow to Grandmaster Toms if you would like. If you would like a channel where a Grandmaster answers all questions and explains their thought process while playing in events. So probably events like, online blitz and rapid tournaments against other strong players. This was you, Dhruv. Okay. So you see this was kind of the critical moment of the game. Do you have any questions about your game before we move on to another one? Once I was up a piece, in theory, you know, it was just a matter of me keeping track of the position, right? From here on, I should win unless something goes horribly wrong, right? So I think this is really the key moment in the game. Knight e5 was an overplay. Rook e8 makes sense. Abdurrahman asks, if I just go king h2 and b4, is it not still better for white? Yeah, white's probably a little bit better even against rook e8, Abdul. But he's in the game. That's kind of it, right? He's in the game. Not much experience yet. Okay. Sorry to catch you off guard like that. I wasn't trying to, you know, play an annoying and unusual opening or anything. I just went, you know, e4, d4, c4. I was trying to just keep track of the, I don't know, it was my way of labeling the boards for myself, right? It was like I've got the e4 board, the d4 board, the c4 board, then the Nimzo board when I played black finally. I mean, Abdul, probably we should take this pawn as white here, even though we're going to have to give up one of these two pawns. And then it's a question of which of those two pawns we want to give up. One's going to give black more counterplay, but leave us with an amazing center. But yeah, for sure, we should... Well, not for sure, but my feeling is we would do this as white, and now we would pick which pawn we're holding on to. And in the resulting position, we will have a small advantage for white, a normal opening advantage. Yeah? Maybe queen c2. Yeah. Sure, queen c2. I mean, if we're going to defend this pawn, it makes sense to put one of these pawns. That can only help us, honestly. We have to decide, do we want b3, d4, or do we want d3, b4? But we want one or the other, and then we'll figure out how we're playing with the bishop. Queen c2, b4, knight f6. Oh, just continuing to, you know, fight on the fight for these things, huh? Maybe so, yeah. Maybe so. This move is logical, for sure. It can be taken quite seriously. Yeah, I can't yet play d4 here, Stan. That's correct. Dropping the bishop back to a7 when you've got a chance could make sense, yeah. I mean, it's possible that you played too aggressively here, Drew, with this e4 move, right? Like maybe this would be a move where you could just go bishop a7 and just have a totally normal position, right? That might be the moment. I mean, this was a very bold choice, right? But then, you know, you're locked into quite a wild fight over the e4 pawn. After queen h6, yeah, d4 could be played. That is the big question I'm asking here, Stan, is does white want d4 or does white want b4? Where's this bishop planning to be used, right? If you want to play b4, then you want to play d3 to defend this pawn and put the bishop on b2. If you want to play d4 and try and take over the whole center, then you're probably going to play b3 to hold this pawn. And you can play d4 right away if you want to. But I don't know which one's better here, you know? Or if something like king h2 is better and give up this pawn, right? You could also go like here, 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 here. Maybe take the bishop here, the bishop pair. Or do this, if you think that you've got that bishop contained. I mean, white looks like they've got to be better, right? With the nice bishops. Or maybe here to do this, Stan? Maybe this is what you've been trying to tell us the whole time? d4, t5. Is this why you were so interested in d4? Some tactics, not just having the center? Oh, but black does have this move. And the game goes on. No win yet. With the c pawn on the board. Okay. Sorry. So you want to go d4 here. Bishop a7, d5. Saying like, yeah, this is hanging, but you're going to do that. Ah, but now the knight is hanging. So this is probably going to be quite loose for white, Stan. This is going to be, who knows what's going to happen now. Yeah, it's complicated. It's really complicated. White's pieces are really bad. I understand this pawn is something for black to worry about a little bit, but look how much better black's pieces are. Right? I mean, they're going to be ready to sack anywhere on your pawn structure to checkmate the king as the game goes. And if they get time to bring a pawn to h4 or f4, it's going to be an extra really brutal ingredient. I would say I'm too scared to play this position, probably. My instinct is, because what's happening is we're trading our only two good pieces and not bringing any new pieces, right? We're engaging in this skirmish that's just trading off in a very fancy way our good pieces that our advantage would potentially be based around here. So actually this other variation here, king h2 takes here, this variation looks better. I know it's like wasting time and stuff, but it doesn't blow up our king in the same way. Whoops, sorry. Now bishop f5. And now maybe like knight c3, knight e5, e4. And even if we don't win a piece, we might be able to just kick all the black pieces to bad squares and develop our pieces, which could be helpful. A very complicated opening. Very, very aggressive move e4 going after like white's light square issues. Very, very interesting actually. Even from somebody who doesn't normally play the English much. All right, let's go to Chess God finally. Sorry it took a moment, John. So I just sort of clicked in order of the game's ending. So everything's fine with this opening. You got a tempo with the bishop, and the bishop's quite good here, taking away some nice squares from me, so that was good. And then your knight's going to threaten knight b4 and knight e5. I go here, now my queen can come here without blocking the piece, but yeah, you've got like good freedom for your pieces here. Seems okay to me how you developed the opening. I guess bishop d7 is not really appealing, so yeah, it makes sense. You go there. I go here to grab the bishop pair. Maybe you should consider bishop f8 and bishop c5 in this position, Chess God. Like I said, everything you did is fine, but if we wanted to try and be even better, you know, and maybe if we wanted to try and play better than me and get an advantage for you, maybe something like that would make more sense, keeping that piece, getting a little more aggressive. And because, you know, bishop g6 can become awkward for me if I don't have check, right? Like if you play bishop g6 here, it's the same as the game. I trade and go here. Or actually, no. I could even maybe go queen b5 in this move order. Yeah. But okay, I suspect white's going to be in a pleasant position if you do that, right? But if you do something like this, now you're kind of threatening that bishop g6 is going to be really awkward for me, right? I mean, I might be able to support the knight, but it's going to be a task. It's going to be a task. The IQP is not like a huge problem necessarily as long as all your pieces are well placed, which they are. You put them all real good. Yeah, I think I would probably keep your bishop here. You played knight b4. I played here. I could have already thrown in the check, honestly, and then played queen d2. Yeah, I would still consider bishop c5 for you. Yeah, maybe you were more excited about this threat on c2 and didn't realize that I could just defend it and it wouldn't actually be a big deal. Hey, Falk. You did see it. So you thought the position was fine. Okay. See, I think you're going to be a little bit worse. I thought maybe you're counting on this to like really bother me, but it doesn't bother me that much. Like I can kick you away and then bring the rook back out, and I've just got the bishop pair here. Plus some chances against this pawn. Well, actually, you know what I didn't look at during the game was this. I did not see this at all, but there's this move to win for white, I guess. Rook c5, knight d5. I totally didn't see this in the game. But that would be the one way to sort of justify everything you're doing, would be some kind of, you know, d4 or knight takes c2, rook takes c3, something here. Doesn't work again, right? Also, this is a pretty good move. Rook e1, nice as well. You were thinking of queen d7. Yeah, but that gives me time to deal with the situation, right? I think. Oh, you could go queen d7, then when I go a3, take. Yeah, maybe. Okay, let's see what you did in the game. Rook d8. No, okay. So let's try queen d7. You found it bad after calculating. Okay, so you looked at this idea, but couldn't get it to work. By the way, d4, queen takes, knight takes. This is just bad, right? Like you get through c2, but it doesn't matter. The bishops are just happy here, and you're still struggling on pawns. Like so far, you sacked 2 to get 1. Okay, so let's look at your queen d7 idea, which makes sense. So you found this to be bad after you thought about it. My first thought would maybe be bishop e5 for white, covering the d4 square and threatening this. So if I go a3, I've got a feeling you can do this now. What do you think? Seems like it should work for you. Like a3 and then maybe win d5. Oh, so maybe you weren't looking at knight c2 in the game. Did you see the idea of knight c2? Because I think that would work here. I think a3 is just a blunder. I mean, I don't have to take with the rook. I can probably still avoid losing if I just go knight d5, right? But okay, I mean that makes use of everything you have, right? You're getting this pawn, your knight's in the game, your rook's on an open file. 2 pieces versus rook and pawn would maybe lose the enact. Yeah, they might. You'd be worse, but it's not 2 pieces versus rook and pawn. It's 1 piece versus the rook. That's the point of queen d7, is to stop queen f5. Yeah. This line is better for black. Like, I mean, just winning. You've won the game. So queen d7 looks pretty good. And here's my instinct. I go bishop e5. So I'm stopping d4. And if you retreat to control this square, then I'm taking, and doing this. And your king's position's not good. So bishop e5 probably deals with queen d7 pretty well. That's my feeling. I think there I'm better. This would be the most challenging move. I've got a lot of options. I could snag the pawn. Like this, just play up a pawn. Yeah, that's a clear plus. A queen b2? Uh-oh. Queen b2. Shoot. Didn't see that. Okay, so that doesn't work. That's good for you. A3 takes. Do I have this maybe? Takes, d4. Nothing. Gotta try this. Gotta keep this covered. Here. The knight's kind of trapped. Like if I just overprotect the d4 square, it's kind of stuck for a while. Maybe white's still better here. I don't know, but it's certainly not obvious. The other option I can do after queen e6 is I can back up, and when you poke me for the square, now I come out, take the file. You got to keep your knight, and then knight b5, and I go grab on a7, or queen f5. Now I take. And maybe now take with the bishop so I don't give up b2. Maybe take with the queen. Cover these pawns. Yeah, it's all a little bit still struggling, I think. Bishop e5 is a good move. Yeah. So I think I'm just better by a reasonable amount in all these positions with the bishop pair, John. So let's move ahead a little bit. So I get the pawn, and now you've got this position. So you're down the pawn, but it's defensible because you can always get that opposite colored bishop position, right? Like you did in the game, right? And yeah, I think it's very interesting to talk about this position because it's like you're obviously worse, but almost certainly drawing if you just play the best possible defense for the rest of the game, is my guess. Should be 4, transferring the bishop to c6. That was really nice, actually. I was impressed by that maneuver. I hadn't planned for that, but you're both blockading the pawn, and any position with queens on the board is going to be counterplay. I don't have a big enough advantage to win the endgame, so I'd rather keep playing and try and find a second weakness with my queen. But now, in this position, I notice stuff like queen here, queen here, here, and here, right? It's just out of control instantly. So I realized I can't even go after this or go after, try to set up. With queen d4, if you move this, I could go bishop d2 to c3 and try and create a weakness on the king side. But you always have, even if I don't take this, right? You always have more going on. That I have to watch out for. So I decided I've got to play rook e1 here, rook e3, and that's a great move as well, John. Very nice, going for a4, stopping my entire queen side. That's really nice. Really nice. Okay, I'm doing the best I can. I'm putting some pressure on you. Maybe you should just wait and not trade on e7 so the pawn is one step further back. I don't know about rating it out of 10. I can rate it on a scale from like 0 to 2800. I feel like, you played like 1900 to 2000 level easily. Yeah, okay, so that's where you start risking stuff. I think if you just sit, this should be okay, right? Keep your king here where it's keeping mine at bay. I think. Yeah, and F5 opens up more routes. But like I would say, this is what I would try and do here with the idea that when the white king comes, you come here. But at the same time, yeah, maybe this is fine. Maybe this way is fine. If I go here, probably take this pawn. Here, and you get back in time for this. That's a draw. Yeah. I was thinking here that even here, if you just sat, you might still have a draw. But I like this idea of defending the pawn with your king so that I have to worry about this at all times. Yeah, that should be enough to draw still as well, Johnso. So, I mean, this is not really advantageous, but yeah, this F5 makes it riskier again. And now, whichever way you go with your king, I have some way to sort of get in the other direction. So everything's going to be risky now, I think. You can probably still draw this, even here. So the thing is, it was a draw, yeah. You have to make a lot of mistakes to lose this, actually, I think. I keep looking at it and thinking like, yeah, you can still draw it. You can still draw it. Right, so now maybe here. I mean, would you ever want to go take this in exchange for these? No, not both of them. So you sit. I had like 10 seconds on the clocks. I was just checking if maybe your pawn was still on b6 or b7 instead of b5. That's why I moved around on these squares here. I was just looking for your pawn, you know, like maybe it's just hanging around somewhere here. Okay, but finally I come here, and now we're just sitting. Bishop here. Yeah, I wondered about this, which I think is good for you because your king doesn't get stuck. How do I keep in mind that I wasn't sure where his b pawn was? Very impressive. Okay, yeah, so what I want to say is you should not put the bishop on e8 and get tempoed like this, right? Is there no waiting move here? I felt like bishop e8 was just what I wanted, but I just waited, and then what? Yeah, there's no room anymore. Okay, so let's say that this might be the last mistake, letting my king come forward like crazy. Maybe here? Maybe here. Still has some chances. Here. You can take. Yeah, here, John, this is your last chance. Bishop d7 right here. You just threaten the pawn and this pawn at the same time. So if I play like king d6, you just take this. That's a clear draw, right? And if I go f3, then you take this. That's also a clear draw. So I have to do something like this, trade that pawn, and then you come back. Now, not only do you now have a counterplay, and not only did you place this pawn so well it's kind of freezing too for now, but the diagonal for your bishop has gotten bigger, which is an amazing thing in this kind of position. So even if you don't have this, in a position like this, you can now, I think, hold the game by going back and forth here. You see what I mean? You're holding this, and bishop g7 you can still take for now. And even if I go b3, I still don't, it's still all one diagonal for your bishop. Whereas in the game, I think you actually lost because that diagonal was short at some point. You see what I mean? The contrast between the two? Okay, I did my stupid dance, but eventually we come here, and now I just wait, and you go here, and I wait, and your diagonal's just not long enough. Honestly, if you didn't have the b5 pawn, let's say this. If you didn't have the b5 pawn, like if you literally didn't have it, it might be a draw. Because your bishop would have more space. Okay, so you made a comment earlier, like maybe b4 gives you some chances. The problem is it also gives me a new pass pawn, right? But yeah, in that other position, of course, you can just push the h pawn, and that's also drawing. But I think literally, even with the g pawn on the board and no pass pawn for you, if you can go bishop b5, bishop c6, this position here might be a draw. You see? But b4, it gives me a new pass pawn now. You're better off with my pawn on a3. Now my king comes back out, and I just push this pawn through. It's going to lose. It's too late for b4. Yeah, b4 is not really the answer, but earlier that bishop d7 move. Where was this? Where I said it was like the last chance. Here, bishop d7. That'll do it. That was the last obvious draw to me. I'm not like a super GM of endgames, but that's the last clear draw. Just sit and use his time. I mean, John used his time. By the end game, he used his time. I think it's just not displaying it correctly. Didn't you use your time eventually, John? You didn't have 16 minutes left at the end of the game, did you? No. I've just checked it as well as I could, John, so by analyzing the game with you. You did have 16 minutes left? Okay, so then, well then let's say this end game, you could have spent more time on the end game, I guess. You could have played it a little bit slower. Because it should be a draw, and it took multiple mistakes to lose it. So yeah, so that's a good piece of advice then from Abdul. If you had like 16 minutes left in the game, spend a couple minutes in that endgame finding moves like bishop d7. And before you go for g5 or f5, really think through them, right? Like how long did you spend on a move like g5 or f5, right? That are really, this was great, this a5, a4. But let's see, like g5, 20 seconds, and f5, 6 seconds, right? These are huge, huge decisions, right? These are like 3 minutes each for these moves if you've got 19 minutes at this point, right? I guess in general you played that whole game super fast. I guess you were probably thinking on my time a lot because I was over on other boards. So I can understand how in the middle game you may have been thinking on other people while I was working on the other games, and because it sounds like you definitely looked at some stuff and calculated and all your moves were good. But in the end game, by then I was playing 3 games instead of 5 maybe, and I was forced to play faster, and you needed to spend more of your time. And that leaves one absolutely crazy game. Where this queen b6 move really messed me up. If I just play like queen d2, knight e4, what's happening to me, Cartier? I didn't know this queen b6 move was even possible here, and I just got immediately confused. Hi, Soul Carlos. I don't know. Well, I remember in the game, as we were playing, Cartier said, like, I forgot my opening. So we were both just confused at this point. I came up with knight c2, thinking that it, on queen b2, I have knight a4 trapping the queen. You vaguely remember something. Okay. Now I was able to castle. Oh, but here I just really played like an idiot there. I'm not sure what I should have done, whether it should be something terrible like bishop d2 or something. I don't know. I don't know what I should do. This gets confusing, but I played here hanging a pawn, and now I'm in trouble. I open up this, knight c5, yeah. And now I calculated that I could win back the pawn on b7 with like rook b5, bishop takes, rook here, and then the bishop on d4, and my bishop's just bad. It's just terrible. I'm like basically clearly worse to lost, even if I take on c5 and get this pawn somehow. Yes, MD Knight. We just had a small blindfold simul. It was 5 boards, but a relatively fast time control for me of 20 minutes and 15-second increment. So divided by 5, 4 minutes plus 3-second increment. Rather quick. And I started running out of time. It was a miracle I didn't flag every single game. But I did get crushed in one game, but I got truly crushed. Like, more time wouldn't have changed it. I got crushed. And I struggled in several games that were very close. So if Cartier saved the bishop here, why not? Was there any reason not to? No. There was no reason not to. This was just like strangely aggressive from Cartier. And I mean, his position's perfectly playable. He's got, the dark squares, good outposted pieces, and an extra pawn, piece and a rook against a queen. I mean, maybe Cartier did this on purpose because he thought he was better here. Cartier missed bishop b2. Oops. Okay. The position's still so good for you that I thought maybe you did this on purpose. But it's also playable for me again, right? So I would say, like, if you had a lot of time, it's definitely black's better if you just go bishop g7 and stay up a pawn, right? There's no need to do something this crazy. But okay, you didn't do it on purpose. We get here. This is definitely the right recapture with... Oh no, you could take with the pawn too. It didn't matter. Okay. I come here. My bishop's kind of trapped here too. Maybe I should immediately have tried to play f4 here. Oh, tried to play f4, just played it. I think I should have immediately played f4 here. That's maybe a small improvement. g5 was good. Maybe now you should sit, Cartier. I feel like you couldn't come up with a way to really improve your position much, but I didn't have a plan to improve mine either. So maybe you should have, in general, had an approach of more just sitting on this position. That's my thought here. Yeah, it's a great game, right, Sol Carlos? And Guillaume was really strong. My preparation worked out well that game, actually. And then he just was a lot better than me. Yeah, I think this, to stop f4 makes sense. But now maybe just sit, king h8, king g7, etc. I don't know. I felt like the position was very close to equal here. But you went and did something, and then I got the idea to, bring my queen into some squares by surprise from here. I was surprised that I found this in a blindfold game, because it's not like a normal geometry, and I couldn't see the board to come up with it. But somehow I was like, oh, my queen can get to this like newly undefended square, and that'll be slightly annoying. Then she's in contact with some things. You have to keep those things defended, and you can't attack her on g4. So you're just giving her a square there. Yeah, I think this made things worse for you. I tried to threaten a5. I shouldn't have even done this. I should have just gone queen g4, I think. I don't know what I was doing. But then it got messy. You came after me. Oh, you hung your rook because it was trapped. I was like, why did he hang his rook? I think I thought for a moment that your rook was on f8 and that you could move this rook back maybe. But except I knew that your rook was on f6, not f8. Because I couldn't see the board, I just expected your rook to go somewhere. That's what happened, Cartier. Knight takes c6. Knight takes d2. Knight takes e7 check. King h8. Bishop takes b6. A takes b6. And then Abdul like rook d1 and the knight is still trapped on d2. But the knight on e7 is not. Or maybe knight takes c8. And then rook d1. Okay, well that's important for that opening theory, I guess. Dang, I didn't know the rook was trapped, Cartier. I'm sorry if you heard me in chat like going like, huh? Why is he putting his rook where my pawn can take it? I didn't know, man. Also, I probably missed queen h5 checkmating here, right? Or even like maybe queen g5. Yeah. This game was very messy for me. But then I just had a queen up. Yeah. All right. We're going to make a little pause here, folks. I'm going to take my lunch break. I hadn't castled yet. Just king d2. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, I was wondering if I had to go rook fd1 or if I hadn't castled yet. Okay, so that's clear. All right, I'm going to take my lunch break, folks, and I'll be back in a little bit over an hour, and we'll look at Wake on Zay together for a bit this afternoon, right? Yeah. Right on. Wake on Zay. Let's send a raid since we're going to be gone for an hour. Thanks, Stan. Let's raid Eric.